Well, I really wasn't even going to do a video on this. This is going to be changing the oil in a 2018 Yamaha SX210, which I know there's other videos out there. And this should apply to a 2017 to a 2021. But there's some things that I saw in some other videos that might be kind of screwing you a little bit of getting the most oil out of your engine. So I'm going to go with service manual, even though it's a little bit vague on a couple of things that I think are probably important. So I'm just going to go give you the steps in the book, which I'm not going to bore you with running my boat for 5 minutes, but you need to start the engine. I did one engine at a time, ran one for 5 minutes, changed oil in it, and that's what prompted me to do the video, because I discovered some things. So now I'm going to do the second engine, but start the engine, run it, of course, hook your water up so you don't, overheat your engine. Run it for at least 5 minutes. I ran mine for a little bit longer, just to get the oil hot and everything. Okay, and the book says to put the boat in a horizontal position. It's pretty much always in a horizontal position. I took it to mean level, and I know other people took it to be level. So I put a level on the engine and leveled the engine. And what I found out was when you do that and then you try to vacuum the oil out, you don't get maybe not even half out that you could. I ended up going back and cranking the front of the boat up as high as I could, and unfortunately I found out that the person who, I'm the second owner, this is his second oil change. The first owner did the 10-hour oil change, or he hired somebody to do it, he told me, and they overfilled this engine. I got a little over 4 quarts out of this engine, and it's a bit of that's my fault. I didn't read the book on checking the oil. I just pulled the dipstick and checked it, but I didn't realize I wear reading glasses and all that. I was not looking at the right marks. I should have flipped it over. It was always overfilled. This one is also overfilled. So I'm hoping to see maybe a little bit of improvements of performance. But anyway, start it, run it for 5 minutes. Now I could show you my pump here. It's actually a piece of medical equipment. I use it on my jet ski too. It's some sort of, I don't know, it's a vacuum. That's all it is. It's just electric. The only downside of this is, like, I'm using a gallon jug to kind of figure out how much I'm taking out. And I could also, once this is filled and start putting oil back in, I could dump this oil into that container and figure out how much, oil I'm putting back in. But anyway, this is all screwed up, so I'm going to probably put like 3.5 quarts in it, and this takes 4, and I got over 4 out of the starboard engine, so, and I know I'm going to get over 4 out of this one. So anyway, going back to here, and this is covering some other videos, but this is a dipstick plug. Just make sure that you get down as low as you can in there, and just start backing the oil out. Like I said, this one's electric, so I'm going to turn it on, and it just starts sucking the oil out. Simple as that. It's nothing really complicated. I think it would be nice to have one of the actual pumps, because they got marks on them where every quart is, so you can kind of tell how much is coming out. But again, this one was overfilled to begin with. So I'm going to suck all the oil out of here, and then I'm going to move on to the next step. Alright, well, I'm pretty much just sucking air now at this point out of a dipstick hole here. So now we're going to move over to your second point, which is going to be this hose right here, all the way to the back. And well, yeah, it looks like it's connected to something. That's basically just a holder. So just take the little clamp and pull it off, and then shove your hose in there. Let me get it. All right, let me take this clamp off, and just pull the hose off. I've already had this one off, so it came off easier. The second time, don't expect it to come, yours to come off that easy if it's your first time taking it off. All right, I get my little vacuum tube and just stick it all the way in here. I need a little extra hose. you'll feel it hit bottom. And let me get the pump on. Alright. So now I just got to suck all the oil out of here. Again, if you leveled your boat, don't do that yet. Oh, I got one other thing I need to come back with too here. Let me get all the oil out of here. Okay, one other tip in the book is to punch a hole dead center of the oil filter. So I'm going to use a little nail punch and a hammer there to punch a hole in it. And it says that lets air in, so it drains the oil filter down, so you can back it out of the engine instead of getting it all over the boat. So that is one of the tips in the book. Alright, now I'm going to take the oil filter off and see my I didn't make much of a hole in that. I thought I did. So I got a rag stuffed down here, and I got this little pan here just so I can quickly set it over in that pan. Loose here. No, come on. It's going to be stubborn. This is a universal little rig, doesn't work that great. Oh man. Yep, I might have to try something else with that. Let's see what I can. Yeah, my neighbor decided to cut the grass next to me. But I ended up using a big pair of channel locks. And that's the only thing I could get this loose with. So, I've got it loose. Let's see how much oil is in it. It's been draining for a while. Quite a bit. It's just sitting in that little, it's actually not much at all now. Look at it, that's just that little bit. So that does seem to help if you punch a hole in the top of it. Good tip there, Yamaha. Let me get the new one. Just a little bit of that oil on the new O-ring here. Alright, well, look at the pan there. I've got the filter upside down and there's almost no oil coming out of it at all. So, not bad. Alright, it's time to fill her up, I guess. So let me pull the camera back out. Alright, I got my funnel in the dipstick hole back there. So you're supposed to put half the oil in the dipstick hole and half the oil right here in this hole right there. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me pour oil. I'm going to do that. Alright, I may have misspoke earlier and said this was the engine's required 4 quarts. It's actually, with the filter change, it is 3.59. So it's, let's just say 3.6. I put 3.5 in it. And I am going to go ahead and level the engine, fire it up, both of them, let them run for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then I'm going to check the levels to see how it is. In case you're wondering what I used, I did go in AMSOIL, marine oil, and OEM Yamaha oil filter. And so anyway, this is part of the, whole season thing. Next thing I'll be doing is the plugs, which hopefully is a lot less time consuming than the oil. I'm going to tell you right now, the oil, between getting the boat hooked up and getting it over here, getting everything ready, heating the oil up, I mean, it's been quite the it's a lot longer than I thought it would be. So if you're going to do this yourself, set yourself a good amount of time to do it, so you're not rushed. But anyway, moving on. All right, for the plugs, they're fairly simple. I'm just doing one at a time. I'm just going to show one real quick. I like to take the connector off here just so we don't stress anything. This is a 10mm bolt. Your coil just pretty much straight up pulls out. You will need a 5/8 inch, and do yourself a favor, get you a actual, and where'd mine off to? Spark plug socket. It's a 5/8, like I said, and it's got the little rubber thing in it that will let you lift the plug right out. These come out really easily. I'm not sure they were torqued right in there. By the way, the torque on your plugs is, let's see, it is 9.6 foot-pounds, which I did the conversion, comes out to be about 115 inch-pounds. None of my torque wrenches would go that low except one. Let's see here. And that plug looks pretty nasty. I hope I'm in focus. And then just to make sure, check your numbers. It's a CR9EB, CR9EB. These are the NKGs, which are what they recommend. They come pre-gapped. It's always a good idea to check them though. Alright, so put it back in your socket very easily down and hand tighten until you can't go any further. I think I'm there. So the only wrench I have that will do this torque, and if you don't have a torque wrench, I've checked it, it's about like the spark plug say on the side. It's half a turn, snug plus half a turn, and this doesn't really fit well in here, and is probably this thing is ancient, but it still works. I've even checked it with some of my other torque wrenches, and it's pretty much right on. And take it up to about 115 inch-pounds, right about there. And then we just put our coil back in. I hope I'm not jiggling all over the place. Anyway, actually that little torque wrench will also check removing torque. It'll go forwards and backwards. These were all at, I honestly don't think the last owner changed the plugs. These were all right at 75 inch-pounds. I mean, exactly 75 inch-pounds they broke. So I would say that's probably the spec on it. I can't find it in the book anywhere. That's about it. Tighten your bolts back up, plug your wire in, and you're good to go. It's that simple. And like I said, if you don't have a torque wrench, just go snug plus about half a turn. You'll be fine.